And we take you live to Nasrec. That's where we find our politics editor, Lukhanyo Calata. He's monitoring developments at that conference, and we are anticipating that a media briefing will be held a little bit later on this afternoon. This as issues such as social transformation, also under that theme, taking a look at the issue of water and sanitation. Our colleagues on the ground reporting of elderly people who in 2022 still do not have access to basic human rights. Lukhanyo, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you so very much. Listen, so we are here, as you say, at Nasrec, and this is where we are going to be up until the conference obviously concludes tomorrow afternoon or maybe even early evening. But I'm joined now by our resident analyst for this weekend, Mr. Moeletsi Mbeki, to talk to us a little bit about what has come out of the conference thus far. Mr. Mbeki, thank you so very much once again for your time. When you look at the President's speech yesterday, I know we did speak on it, but just your overall impressions once again.
Well, the President, I think, describes the many problems that South Africa is faced with and that the ANC faces. So they have a multitude of problems which are there in the document, in the policy conference documents of that the ANC prepared beforehand, and he outlined more of those and gave his own emphasis on aspects of the problems that the country faces. My own takeaway from it is that the ANC does not really have clear priorities. If you're going to run a country, you have to have priorities. You can't solve all problems at the same time. So you have to solve certain problems today, another set of problems next week, and so on. The ANC is not clear about what its priorities are, so it's trying to solve all problems at the same time, and of course it's failing to solve any of its problems, which is why the country is in the really precarious situation that it is in now.
One of the things that the President mentioned this week coming into conference was the issue of Eskom, of energy, and its impact, of course, on the economy and everything, obviously, that touches. Do you think that the energy policy will enjoy the kind of attention that it should at this conference?
No, I don't think so. The Eskom problem has been with us for 15 years. Now, if for 15 years the ANC has not been able to solve the electricity problem, the electricity supply problem, one day or 2 days it will not be able to solve it. So I don't expect there is any solution that will come out of this. There are huge conflicting interests within the ANC, which is why it's unable to solve the problem of Eskom. The ANC uses state-owned enterprises for its middle-class development program. It has a middle-class development program. So, for example, if you look at what it did at Eskom, it removed the skilled people who were there before, who had experience. It's not enough to have a degree in electrical engineering. By the ANC's own admission, you have to have many years of experience to be able to run a power station. The ANC, in its black middle class development program, removed the whites who had the training and the experience and replaced them with the blacks who may have had a degree but didn't have the experience. So those are the challenges. You can't solve them in one day. Those people have to have the necessary experience. They have to be trained by somebody with the experience, which is why the ANC is now turning to Solidarity, the white Afrikaans trade union, saying, please bring back the people we kicked out, bring them back to come and train the guys that we put there.
Right, let's quickly then move on to the issue of land. We know that obviously in a previous conference, I think it was 2017, the issue of land expropriation without compensation was discussed. It was later adopted at elective conference. However, the ANC was unable in the intervening years between 2017 and now to then translate that into implementation from government and also to make an express amendment within the Constitution. How do you think that land issue is going to play out here?
Well, the difficulty the ANC is faced with is, does South Africa need land reform? There is a myth in South Africa, in ANC circles, in the ANC leadership, amongst ANC branch members, that South Africa needs land reform. But they haven't been able to explain, why do we need land reform? The only explanation they have is that because most of the agricultural land is in the hands of white South African farmers, therefore we need land reform. That's not the purpose of land reform. Land reform is not to change the color or the complexion of the owner of the farm. You need land reform if your agricultural system is unable to feed the population. The South African agricultural economy is able to feed the South African population. So why do you need land reform other than to change the color of the farm owner?
So populism, basically?
It is basically a populist. It has nothing to do with the real needs of South Africa, with the real agricultural economy of South Africa. It's more about getting votes for the ANC.
All right, Mr. Moeletsi Mbeki, we will continue to have very many discussions over the course of today and, of course, over the course of, the next few days, today as well as Sunday, when we expect the policy conference to come to an end. For the time being, that's it from us at Nasrec. We across you over now back to studio.